1956. Here is a gentleman whose entire life was changed by the film trapeze, Tito Gaona.
Tito, nice to meet you. It's a pleasure. You made me what I am.
Well,
in that movie,
you make me what I am.
Okay.
You gave me the same courage that I gave you.
That's beautiful.
See, that's the way it should be. Oh, well, a great pleasure to meet you. I read that wonderful piece about you in the New York Times, that Sunday section. So many of my friends gave it to me because they said how kindly you mentioned my name in those photographs.
I tell you, really, you're...
Triple every night.
Every night he does the triple. Come on, sit down.
You go out with girls at all?
Well, like you did in 56.
Yes, right. I love it. Sit down, young man.
Tito, first, let me formally introduce you. Yes. This is Tito Gaona of the great Flying Gaonas, currently performing every day at Madison Square Garden, Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey Circus. This gentleman is regarded as perhaps one of the greatest athletes in the world for what he does as an acrobat, the man on the flying trapeze. Take 30 seconds and remind everybody about how your entire life is affected by Tony Curtis and what you saw him do in the film Trapeze.
Well, at the time, you know, I was in trampoline gymnastics. And I was walking down 42nd Street back in 1962, or 60. And trapeze was there, you know. And my father was in a tradition of circus generations, with third generation in the circus family. And, you know, when the movie Trapeze came out, I think it was the most, I mean, really, really beautiful movie. It wasn't phony, like running around with tights around the city, or, I mean, you know, they usually do the Hollywood thing with all these circus things, you know, to overdo it. And Trapeze was based such a beautifully just to perform the triple somersault. And me, you know, when you're a kid, you know, you being Tito and him being Tino, you know, wow, I want to be like him, you know, and all these little things that were really tremendous, you know. It's something that my dream came true, and what happened to you in the movie, it happened to me in life. John Ringling North saw us in Sweden. He saw the triple, I want you to go to New York. And the same thing, it was exactly the same thing as it happened. And it became a reality of my life.
Nice. You're welcome.
It was beautiful. And it's,
you had never met, right?
Never. And
I can tell the hand of a...
always see you...
Look at
right.
Look at what happened. Can you see the...
calluses?
The calluses, how hard your hand has to become.
And remember, you all the time going like this?
Yes, always by... always tearing at them.
Right, and you're going like this.
Always building up those calluses.
Really.
So what happened as you're sitting there in this theater on 42nd Street, and there's Tony Curtis and Burt Lancaster, Gene Oliver Bridges, the film?
Well, you know,
what came over you?
It came over something. It was something unbelievable because it was about 3 o'clock in the morning, right? Trapeze is there, and my father said, Tito, how can you see trapeze at that late? I mean, you're going to be out of 5. I don't care. I want to go see it, you know, because we were doing a trampoline act. So, all right, we'll go and see the movie, you know. I was having that movie, watching the movie. Every time I saw the movie, $1 Million movie, they showed it off a week here. And I was watching always a movie, you know. It's just something that really got to me.
And that's what you wanted to do?
Yeah, it was something.
You know, it's incredible.
And the most touchy part, it was like when you said, remember, it's like having a little clock inside of you. Right. You know? And that was such a beautiful thing because Burt Lancaster and Faye Alexander, of course, you know, he was such a great flyer, you know. He's still, and the way he did everything, and everything was explained, and everything was really touchy, you know. And, of course, that, you know, I did my triple somersault. I was the first one after the...
You know, Tito, that Faye we never got that triple.
Faye told me about it.
You know that in all the time we photographed it and rehearsed it, there was only one take where that triple, where they held the triple for about 2.5 seconds, just enough so that they could cut away, but they couldn't get that triple. And it just created such a tension for everybody, certainly for Faye.
Ooh,
you know,
who was Faye?
Faye Alexander was the chap that doubled me and did the triple.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember the guy that played the catch at double Burt. Anyway, they weren't in sync. Eddie Ward, right. And one could feel a tension between them. They weren't working as one. And that was the reason. That was the dilemma for them, you know. There was an ego problem.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah. And you can't have an ego problem going 60 miles an hour.
No, crashing into
barreling into someone else.
Tito, did you bring...
That's the last place in the world to have an ego.
Did you bring film, Tito?
Yes, I brought a clip that I would like to show.
Why don't we roll that? Leave our mics.
Mostly Beethoven?
No, it's about, you know, like I would like to show. I do triple somersault.
Good, here we go.
And
watch the monitor.
I do the triple a triple pirouette back to the bar, you see, which, and sometimes I go back like with a triple pirouette back to the bar, see?
Oh, beautiful.
Usually now they show in slow motion.
Yeah, that's right.
This is my brother Armando, my sister Chella, and my cousin Lalo, the catcher.
Where was this?
This is was in Florida, in St. Petersburg. You
see how high up he has to start building that speed?
2, 3, they kind of...
There comes number 3. Beautiful.
And then I come back, which I usually do once in a while.
Look at that beautiful form.
And then comes the...
You need momentum.
We see the pirouette. It's like ballet. Look. It's a trick that, I usually come with 1.5, but then I'm trying to do a triple pirouette once in a while. But now the thing that got me going more... Oh, what's this here?
Let's keep watching.
He does a 50 here. Oh,
what happened?
Sweet kid, he fell on his hand.
How about that?
Tito.
Oh, cut.
No,
You're out there.
wonderful. I love it.
I want to see what else is going to happen here.
They say it's not what you do, it's how you do it. So you have to wake the people, right?
I love it. Perfect. Shows you're human.
Right.
I think you're planned it myself.
Right.
I just leave the film rolling long enough to take a look and see what this is going to be.
What this is going to be.
So let's see. That's something I would like you to tell if you have time.
He's going to dive into the arms of a beautiful woman.
There you go. See?
Bam.
Little of that. Oh, on the bar.
All right. Tito. Excellent. Wonderful. Wonderful.
It was such a, I have to tell you, I mean, always, when I saw you in all your movies, you and Burt Lancaster, I was always watching for both of you. You were my idols. Burt Lancaster, Tony Curtis, where are they coming on,
It means so much to me to hear you say that.
Yeah, it really
truly.
is.
It's like a relay race where a person passes a baton to someone else. I've always felt like that about Cary Grant and a number of other actors. Yeah. And when I was a boy, I'd go to the movies and just sit there and want to emulate them. They were like my family, They filled in me a desire to want to improve my life.
Exactly.
And when I meet someone like you and find that I've contributed that way without knowing you, it's very moving and so kind of you.
Really, really is. For me, it's a big pleasure.
What a swell surprise that is.
I'm happy to do it. I knew you'd enjoy it.
Here we are, the Three Musketeers.
Let's take a break. We'll be back and continue right after this. I think I can do that. Can we be the three? Can you do that?
No. Yeah, right.
We got
We'll be right back.
Not back.
We're live right now. With us, novelist, actor Tony Curtis. Tony's book is Kid Andrew Cody and Julie Sparrow. And we have Tito Gaona, the great flying Gaonas, Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey Circus. And it must be interesting to conceive of the fact that if one life is touched by one performance in one film, and here's a man who, it can truthfully be said you probably wouldn't be doing what you're doing if you hadn't gone to see Chappie.
I think, that's right. I don't think...
I wonder what happened to all
films.
the people who went to see Some Like It Hot.
Or the Defiant
That's
one.
a good one.
There must be a lot of ladies that come up to me who aren't.
For sure. So I wonder, it's got to give you
a good one.
Wait a second. The Boston Strangler.
Yeah, right. A few years back, I was one of the presenters at the Academy Award, and we were doing a rehearsal. Okay. And Jose Feliciano was there with his wife, and he was going to sing one of the songs that were nominated. And as I was leaving the rehearsal in the car park, she was coming in with her husband, and I had never met him, and she recognized me and said, "Oh, hello, Tony." And she brought her husband over to me and said, "Jose, this is Tony Curtis." And she was holding his arm, and he reached out and he went like this. He said, "The Boston Strangler." Billy Wilder once said that having Judith Crist review a movie was like having the Boston Strangler massage your neck.
She's not that bad. But I wonder if, to take it a little further, what kind of responsibility, if any, do you have to try to bring to the creation of a product, because it can affect people in such a way? It's a complicated question.
Well, I feel that. I feel a great responsibility to my profession, to myself, and the people that see my film. I do not in any way censor the kind of parts I play. because I feel that as an actor, the part does not represent me, and I do not want to be politically involved in the roles that I play, you know, because I don't feel that they are in any way related to one another. Certainly not in our society. You know, we're not doing films of propaganda concepts, you know, we're doing films to amuse and entertain. You entertain, I entertain. That's the bottom line. If you complicate it with more than that, I think you do yourself a disservice. And I'm just so pleased that I've had a chance to play so many varied kind of roles.
Do you have, is it possible to say that you have a favorite role that you created?
No.
I'm sure people ask you that question. You've just done too many.
No, there isn't. Each picture as I make it is my favorite. Each triple that you do is the most important.
Right.
You know?
That's true.
I don't believe. There are some films that turn out better than others, perhaps. But the meaning or the value comes after the work. Much, much after. It's not possible to, you know, when you're working on it, there's no way for you to know what's going to happen. Because if that were the case, then a movie like Easy Rider at $200,000, right?
Sure. How much did it make? Millions
about
and millions.
$30 million or so.
Wow.
So you see, no one really knows. So while you're working on it, making it, you have no idea what's going to be with it.
It's true.
The times, the atmosphere you're living in, what's going on in the news at that same time, you know. So many invariables affect the success and quality of almost anything.
You know, one thing I was thinking about this morning I wanted to ask you is just a little bit of projection into the future. 10 years from now, 15 years from now, do you think that the feature film business, and that is four-wallers, films that are released that you go out of your home and pay money to go see, do you think that there's still going to be a business for them, or do you think that home entertainment centers are going to knock off?
I think they're going to knock out the theater.
You really think so?
The theater owners won't like you to say that and don't like you to say it simply because, you know, what they're contributing is a big room with some chairs in it. Right? And they pontificate into making you think that they're great impresarios, when in reality they're nothing but landlords. Now, I'll give you an example. May I have the time?
Sure, go.
When I first got to California in 1948, 1950, I joined the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Science. And they, at the end of the year, would send out a booklet, a reminder booklet. It was about this long and this wide on shiny paper. And it listed every movie made alphabetically with the cast, producer, director, writer, so that you as a member could be able to refresh your memory. That book used to be 68, 70, 75 pages thick. The book is 14 to 16 pages thick now. Yeah. In a business where a movie can go out and gross some $160, $180 million, they make less and less features. I think that feature films, as we knew it, is a dying art. I don't even mean art, is a dying profession. Films now will be made for television,
and probably
which
more
they
film.
should have been
Probably
made in the
film.
first place. The motion picture profession was very narrow-minded and very narrow-sighted to hide their heads in the sand when television came along. I used to do a lot of movie magazine layouts, and when I'd go to pick up the girl I was going to take out, and we did a photograph in her living room or wherever, if there was a television set, they'd throw a cloth over it and put a vase of flowers on top to act like it didn't exist. They didn't want television, you see?
Sure.
The exhibitors didn't want it. Had the motion picture industry absorbed television, we would all be into home entertainment today and only go out rarely for some monumental film that needed that huge scope, you know?
So essentially what you're saying is that the feature film business is just going to be absorbed by television.
Absolutely.
Yeah, by video
but you know, television, the medium is the message. You know, television is a machine. It's a, you know, it's a machine.
Yes.
You can do everything with that machine. You can study with it. You can use it for.
I do it.
You can use it for. It can be a doctor. It can be an educator, babysitter. It can be your computer. It can tell you how much money you've got. I mean, it can do so many things.
You play hockey
One
with
mustn't think.
You play
yes,
soccer
exactly.
with it. You play ping pong with it. What else are we doing?
We mustn't think of it as a tool for the movies. I mean, we're being foolish when we think of that.
I just was...
Movies become just part of it.
But that's an interesting answer from Tony Curtis. I mean, a man essentially in the motion picture business. So
I'm making movies. Now, if they show it at the men's room at the Astor, it's okay by me.
Wherever, right?
Movies are movies, and they show it on television, perfect. They make big screens, why not?
you know, I just realized at some point, if this turns out to be true, the Oscars, the Academy Awards, are going to be at a very interesting juncture.
Yeah.
Because they're either going to have to start giving awards for movies that are shown on television,
Right.
or totally go out of business, or still hold out so that there's a smaller and smaller amount of movies that only are eligible for Academy Awards, those being the ones shown and released in
Well,
film.
the Academy Award, you know, in the final analysis, is an adjunct to the motion picture industry in the sense that it gives, it's a hype, it's a great press agent. It's a way of gathering what's happened in the year and creating an interest in the movie profession. And that's the purpose of the Academy. Now, originally it wasn't.
Yeah, now
Originally,
it increases business.
Yes.
We have another surprise for you. Talking about the future of movies.
not one of my ex-wives.
I wish. I only wish.
You wish.
Very pleasant to look at.
I'd like to see them try a triple.
The Vikings, huh?
The last time when Tito was here, Al Davis, the astrologer, was with us, and he made some predictions about Tito's future. So now we've had Al Davis run into his mental computer Tony Curtis' birthday, Tito's birthday, and we'll have a little bit of prognostication into the future. Here is astrologer Al Davis. Welcome, Al.
Hello, Al.
Al, just stand right over there alongside of Tito.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you,
What do you see for
Give me
these
some
two
movie
gentlemen?
news.